All right, that's looking good. All right, can everyone confirm that we are good to go? Good. So I'm going to get feedback here. Can everyone confirm that? All right. We are good to go. So there's that. Let me check YouTube. And sorry, guys, a little snafu that we had. Feedback here. Can everyone confirm that? All right. We are good to go. So there's that. Let me check YouTube. All right, Leroy, can you check everything that you were supposed to check? I'm going to double check you too. I think YouTube, we're set. Here's Ames. That's great.
Check YouTube again.
Yeah, we're live. Okay, so that's good. How about Rumble? Add feedback here. Can everyone confirm that? All right. We are good to go. So get Twitter. You get Rumble, I'll get Twitter. And yep, we're on Twitter and we're on Facebook. And I'll check Spreely. And then we should be good to go. That wasn't too bad. Got that down to a science now. Spreely.video. TV.Spreely. And we're going to go watch live and on demand one. Take a look. There will not be a pre-show because we are, there it is. All right. We're green on Rumble, right?
Let me double check.
Leroy, you struggling here, buddy?
I had YouTube and Facebook up, and I started getting everyone's voices at the same time.
Yeah, I know. It's
Rumble's
hard.
Good.
Rumble's
Okay,
good.
we're set. Ready to rock and roll. All right. Well, no pre-show, so we'll do it in the main show, folks. Thanks for being patient. We had a little snafu, but I think we handled it okay. Let's get to it, and we'll be right back. Make sure you like the show if you have not had a chance. Sorry, we've been off a couple nights. It's been Ethan's baseball game. And we're back, and we'll be copacetic. I got some news, some personal stuff to cover with you, and I think Amy and Leroy may have one or two things. I don't know. Amy, are you going to smile tonight?
I'm going to
Is
smile
it possible?
tonight.
So there it is. There's a smile. I knew I could get her to do it. All right, we'll be right back.
There you go.
Everything's good.
Good. Folks, the DUM Club has officially launched. I think we're now at 22 members. It's amazing. If you have not had a chance to look at it, go to thedumclub.com. We have quarterly gift boxes. You get discounts on a Amazon all made in the USA type channel and a whole bunch of other stuff. We're actually having our second chat coming up here in about 10 days. Can't wait to see you there. Stop by thedumclub.com. There's packages affordable for everybody. Well, it's Joe Biden. Let's be honest. Shut up,
Hey
Izzo.
gang, Dominic Izzo, host of the Rants of Izzo show here on Spreely TV, reminding you, watch my friend Matt Spear on the DUM Show daily as well here on Spreely TV. You're going to get talk, news, trending politics, all social issues, everything entertaining and engaging and educational. Do it. Watch it. The DUM Show, Spreely TV, home of free speech. Speak freely here at Spreely. Pretty damn cool. Spreely TV and the DUM Show.
It's pretty damn cool.
Pretty damn cool.
Pretty damn cool.
It's the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
Ride the Lightning. Is that a crypto or a Signalman shirt? Which one is it? Signalman?
No, this is actually from Kentucky Ballistics.
Okay, so it's interesting because Ride the
good
Lightning is actually known as heroin. So the use of heroin, riding the lightning. So also several other things, but Def Leppard has a great song called White Lightning, which is really good song about Steve Clark when he OD'd. But I recognized it looked like either Signalman or Radio Men or crypto. But that's cool. Anyway. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me Show, folks. I apologize that we were gone for 2 nights, and Amy Stamcone let me know that I needed to be on, and she said I just wanted to make sure that you were not going to be selfish and spend time with your family. And I said, no, ma'am, I'll be on. And here we are. So it's good to be here. And it's baseball season. So we've got the playoffs coming up. Obviously, there's some things to address. Denver Nuggets down 0-2 to the Minnesota Timberwolves, now up 3-2. Jokic is probably, hands down, going to be the best NBA player of all time when it's said and done. And that title right now probably is Wilt Chamberlain, right? So as far as best all-around player, that's rebounds, that's field goals, free throws, assists. Wilt Chamberlain's probably one of the best, but somebody like Kareem or Michael Jordan, they were all good in their specific roles. And Jordan could do things that were incredible. And Pippen was great, Kobe's great, and LeBron's great, and Bill Russell and everything else. But Jokic is beyond amazing. And if you're not watching basketball, it's really cool to see because the league has kind of got the element that's a little thuggish about basketball and made it just a little bit more palatable for everybody. And that's good to see. And hey, a white player is dominating the game, which is, I'm sorry, it's like a black player coming in and dominating NHL. It would be weird and it would be strange. And it's good for the sport. And I think it's cool. So anyway, not to make it about race, but I think it's important to realize that NBA is predominantly a black league. And that's the truth. And as the NHL is predominantly a white league. So I think in the next 10 to 15 years, the NHL will probably have about 30 to 40 times more black players than it does right now. And that's because they have reached out. The NHL has been reaching out to the inner cities, making it more affordable. And you're going to see an amalgamation of top talent in both sports. So that's good. Colorado Avalanche down 3-1. Listen, I can't begin to try to help you understand what happened. I can just tell you that hockey is a fickle thing. The regular season means nothing. That if a goaltender gets hot, they can ride it all the way to the cup. But the thing that I want to address quickly is drug addiction and alcoholism, and it is a very serious thing. And Valeri Nichushkin left last year in the first round in Game 2 and entered the player assistance program. He had some struggles with Ukrainian prostitutes at his hotel. He's married. He had a baby on the way. And the Avalanche forgave him for that, and we just moved on and got swept. But it was an emotional draw that just absolutely crushed the Avs because he is one of the best players probably in the game. Valeri is probably top 15 in the game. He's just one of those players that's amazing, and he's on a low-level contract, but he has such an impact on our team. Maybe not top 15, top 25. But anyway, so this is what happens. The Avs come in. We take one in Dallas, which is huge. And then we almost come back in Game 2, and then we drop, the last 3, and we're down 3-1. And yesterday's game, the day before last, we got news that Devon Taves wasn't going to be playing. He's probably one of the top 5 defensemen in the league. But then that Valery Netrushkin, 45 minutes before the game started, had just violated the substance abuse program level 3. He is now suspended 6 months without pay. And he's put up 9 goals in the playoffs so far. I mean, he's our number 1 scorer, and it just crushes the team. And if you watch that game, everyone was just like, dude, that doesn't look like the Avs. So they're going to play tonight. It's really hard to come back from a 3-1. In fact, about 6% of the teams that are down 3-1 actually do come back. It has happened 3 times since 2019, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's a great sport. Last thing, Stros are on a winning streak. They've picked up 7 of their last 8, and they are now only 8 games out of 500, which was one of the worst starts in Major League Baseball history. And to see that the Stros are finally waking up is good. All right, there's your sports update. I had to do it, and now I'm going to go ahead and give you the other update, which is Friday. I will be here, but 8 a.m. I go in for oral surgery. Olivia and I talked about it. We decided to go forward with the crowns on the on the front teeth here. They're going to take them all down and put crowns in. They're going to replace this one lower, so the whistle that you hear when I do that is going to be gone. I'm very excited, and we went to that other doctor, Amy, and they didn't take our insurance, so we went and we got a care credit card, and they approved us, which is shocking, and we're just going to put it on and pay it off here in the next year. And
care credit's really good.
Yeah, well, it's local office credit, and they're amazing. They're really cool, and they were so nice to Olivia and so kind. So going to get those things fixed. It's about time that I made a relationship back with the dentist. Leroy, how are you? What's going on with your life? Anything we need to know about before we get started? And I'm sorry, we're going to start a little late because we have not seen each other almost now for a week. So you have to have a conversation. Go ahead, Leroy.
Oh, my life is ridiculously busy right now, and it's just been very hectic with work. On top of that, I've got some stuff going on with the other government half of me. And so, it is what it is. It's spinning all of these plates at one time, like the clown at the circus, and just hoping you keep it, get it right. So I'm good.
Well, those who are saying, go Dallas. Dallas doesn't need to, if Dallas beats the Avalanche, you're looking at the next Stanley Cup champions, hands down. Edmonton's not going to beat Vancouver. Edmonton are not going to beat Dallas. They have completely dominated and shut down the Avs. I mean, it's embarrassing. And Avs, hands down, that's exactly what they did to the best team in the NHL in Winnipeg. It just shows you the parity in the league. Amy, Leroy, I'm glad that things are good. I'm glad that it's hectic because busy life is a balanced life, but I'm hoping you get a break soon, and you deserve it. Dude, you just think about what year you've had. You went through Chief, you got your promotion, went through Chief school, got out of that, had to bounce around to several different states doing various things, and now you're balls to the wall in it. So it's a crazy, crazy year for you. So thanks for being here. I always love it when you surprise me and say, "Hey, do you have room for me tonight?" And the answer is
always
yes.
have room for you.
Oh, always have room for you. That's right. You're like dessert, dude. Always have room for you.
Oh, yeah? You're like dessert. That is a good one.
Wasn't that sweet?
I'm going to
Amy,
make sure I bring the whipped cream.
No, I've already got that fixed. Amy, go ahead.
I've also been pretty busy with work. Oh, thank you. I'm okay. I have water. Thanks, buddy. My kids are home offering me water because they're so sweet. I'll take this time to just say next Wednesday, my kids actually have their guitar showcase. So I can't be here, but I can come. I could be here on this Friday because my schedule has opened up. So if you want me here Friday, I could be here.
We'd love to have you Friday. That'd be awesome.
And I'll also humble brag really quickly on both of my kids again, because they had their last rugby tournament this past weekend, and my daughter scored her first try. So,
that's fantastic.
She was, she's such a good rugby player. I know she's only 7, but she's actually amazing at rugby. It's kind of funny to watch these little kids be so aggressive.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
My son, it should have been a try. The ref said it was not over the line. It was on the line, and they didn't count it. So I still feel like he scored a try.
That's one of those things you just gotta. It's like scoring on a power play 2 seconds after it expires. The guy just opened the box door. He hasn't even on the ice. He's making no impact. It's a power play goal. So I'm calling it a try. I wasn't even there, and I called it a try. I love rugby. You know I love rugby. I think when he saw a big guy like my ass who was a hooker and a lock, he was probably like, what the? You know, so I love hearing that. I think rugby is hands down. Like I said, I couldn't play football because I was scared to get hit, but then I go play hockey and rugby. Go figure.
They hit different in football. It's a different type of hit.
There's nothing like hockey hits. Here's the thing. You get hit by the player and then you get hit by the boards, right? So there are no boards in
at
NFL.
the ice for my kids.
Well, if you're not good at your job, there is a third hit involved, and that is you hitting the ice. But everyone's like, oh, those boards, they bounce. No, they don't. They don't give. No. Go run into a brick wall. It's going to give a lot less than hockey boards, but it hurts nonetheless. Go run into a goalpost. That gives too. Let me know how it works out. Full speed. Just run into a goalpost. It's going to wobble. Well, that's exciting. What else is going on? Anything else?
Just working. Yeah, just working.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, Olivia is here. She went to the grocery store, but this is her night off. This is her wash her hair night, and Diablo came out.
I have a night like that.
Yeah, I hear you. Diablo came out, so we're going full into it, folks. Thank you for letting us catch up. I know it's not the most exciting thing, but you get to learn about us, and this is about a little bit different. It doesn't always have to be about politics. We always like to kind of catch up, and these two are probably two of my best friends that I have, and I care about them, and I want to share my. Well, it just shows you how pathetic I am. Pathetic.
Yeah, really. We're your friends.
The same way.
Totally. It's like so pathetic. I don't get outside. I went outside and I'm like, oh my God, it's summer. I haven't been outside since Christmas. Leroy understands there's a comfort about being locked up and not seeing the sun, because most of our careers in the military, that's what it is. You don't see the sun for days. And when you're underway, you don't see the sun. And so there's something comforting about being inside. And I enjoy the confines of my home. I want to share one last thing. So kind of an exciting thing. So it's been a lot of news of stress because Facebook has been kind of a pain in the ass and took away our largest revenue stream. But Xfinity, without even asking, they put me at 1.5 gigs download speeds and put me up to 295 up. So you're going to see the show in full 4K. It's probably going to sound better and look better than it's ever been. I'm going to bump it up to 4K tonight, and the show will be broadcast in 4K. But to have that, they recognize that we're a business account now, and they saw the amount of data we're using, and they're like, "You're stealing your entire neighborhood's bandwidth." We're going to, because out of my house, I'm doing like 7.5 to 8 terabits a month. And they're like, we're just going to give you your own node, and you're going to have ungodly speeds, and we appreciate you. So Xfinity, it was pretty amazing. That's good to know. Yeah, it is.
Now, if only Facebook finally, if they can figure out how to unscrew this and remonetize you, that'd be great.
Well, I am monetized. It's not that Facebook screwed me. Facebook changed their policy, and I'll explain this quickly. It used to be that if I used content in my show, I would get copyright on it. Doesn't matter. So if I use something from Bill Maher, as long as I surround it with my content that is over 50%, I can monetize my video. If I use any video anywhere now, I cannot claim my video as my own.
Oh, wow.
So I lose every time I play a video on Twitter, all these videos here, I lose copyright. So what would happen is people overseas in all Middle East and Korea and China and everywhere else would take my stuff, and it would get millions of views. People watch my shit overseas like you wouldn't believe. And I'm not kidding. I mean, some in stateside where we're getting, I'm talking millions of views. I think there was like 99 million views on one of my videos, but it doesn't translate because people are putting it on their stuff. Well, when they do that, they make money. So I would get that. So I would make $5,000 on a video because somebody over in wherever in the Middle East would just get a whole bunch of views. Well, Facebook stopped doing that. So now,
got it.
Where that would help us get that 5,000 to 15,000 every single month to pay just our basic bills in the house and car and we were getting to a spot that's gone. It just disappeared. It's zero. I think last month we did $157 on copyright. So needless to say, it's a huge blow. Now the Dumb Club helps. You guys donating helps, and we'll get there and continue to grow. But that's what happened. So anyway, we've covered this, and I wanted to just make sure everyone understood what was going on. So if you haven't had a chance, go to linktapgo.com, The Dumb Show. If you wouldn't mind, people have been super generous. We're at $1,614 this month. We're trying to get to $3,000. We bumped it up because we had a massive donation we woke up to the other night. And one of our followers, I'm very, very happy, gave us $1,600 as a donation, which is just unbelievable. And it makes our heart go out. We can't thank you enough. Those things are unbelievable. So thank you. Have you guys had a chance to see the black vote and what's going on with the black vote?
I've been trying to keep up on a lot of the polling, and I am admittedly I'm behind, so I have not seen it.
Well, if you have not been over to the news / the Dumb Show, you can do that. And we just got done doing an article, and I just want to give you some highlights. This article really focuses on the issues with the Democrat Party and the history of the Democrat Party. And it goes into Jim Crow laws. It goes into eugenics. It goes into, obviously slavery, Civil War, everything else. But this ultimate degradation of African Americans right now when it comes to saying, if you don't know, you guys heard this, the New York governor said black people don't know what a computer is.
Right.
I saw that.
So it's so great. I have a video for you, and I hope I saved it. Let me see if I saved it. It is the funniest damn thing in the world. In fact, I think it's on Instagram. I'll have to find it. But you also have to look at the fact that they say that black people can't understand and figure out how to vote with voter ID, and that inherently it's racist. These things are not new to the Democrat Party. No. And for anyone who sits here and thinks that this is something that, is unheard of with the Democrat Party, it's not. It happens all the time. The video quickly, and then I want to get some comments from y'all, is a black gentleman decided he put his laptop on a hotel floor.
I saw that.
And he goes around on all fours and he's walking on his knuckles. He's like, woo, 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 and he starts hitting it. Yeah, he starts hitting the laptop, and then he picks it up and he flips it with his hands like this, and he's jumping on the couch and stuff. But he's basically saying, you guys are freaking idiots. He's calling me a monkey, and absolutely that video was so freaking perfect because it just screams, you guys are racist. Hold on, let me see if I can.
Yes.
Go ahead and give me your thoughts, and then we'll go over the article. And then, we'll try to find this video so people can see it. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. No, it doesn't. But anyway, would love to get your thoughts on this. Let me do this. Let me dive into just a little bit of the stats and numbers so you guys have it. So you guys can comment, because it's not fair for me to sit here and say, hey, why don't you go ahead and comment on this, even though you don't know what the hell we're commenting on. So article goes into the party role. It specifically goes into how Nikki Haley even jumped on the bashing Trump train as far as white supremacy, and she did that during her. And I think everyone kind of got sick of Nikki Haley at the end, because she really, yes, Trump was hitting her, calling her bird brain, insulting her, but she really took the CNN talking points and drove them home, which was frustrating because a lot of that stuff wasn't true. But you can take a look at Hillary Clinton, who said Trump was an ignorant racist because of Haiti and African countries. You heard this from Cori Bush, said that he was the former white supremacist in chief. But if we take a look at, thank you, the black voting bloc has historically been a stronghold for the Democratic Party. In the 2020 election, 77% of black voters supported the Democratic candidate, but this support has dwindled to 63%. That is a 14% decline. It represents an all-time low, And here's the funny thing, folks, is that the black population has grown for the largest voting base ever in U.S. history. So you would think that if the voting base grows, that the percentage would grow. No, it's actually decreased, which shows that younger black voters are disenfranchised and not looking to vote. Anyway, it goes into the Great Society. Give it a chance. Give it a read. It's a pretty interesting article. I want to show you the video here, and then we can comment. Here it is.
Sunbelt battleground states. Frankly, for the Joe Biden campaign, these numbers are an absolute disaster. The smallest lead is in Arizona for Donald Trump. He's up 6. Look at this: 9 in Georgia, 13 in Nevada. My goodness gracious, my God, that is a huge lead. No Democrat has lost that state since John Kerry lost it back in 2004. How about these Great Lake battleground states? This is something that the Joe Biden campaign can work with. Look, Pennsylvania, Donald Trump up 3, but that's well within the margin of error. Wisconsin, Donald Trump up 1, well within the margin of error. And actually, a Joe Biden lead well within the margin of error, up a point here. This they can work with the Joe Biden campaign. This, the Donald Trump campaign, absolutely loves, and it looks like a lot of the other polling on the Sunbelt battleground.
So, real quick, I want to give some context to this. When we look at Pennsylvania and you look at these toss-up states when it's outside of the Sun Belt, first of all, Donald Trump getting the Sun Belt is kind of baked in the cake. Without it, he doesn't have a pathway to 270. And I've been very, very clear that Donald Trump has to pick up pretty much all the swing states. And if he loses Michigan or Wisconsin, it's pretty much over. Unless he picks up Virginia or New Hampshire or gets a supplement state to, and he very well could, because Virginia is in play. It's in play. And I understand go ahead. Ann.
I'm curious. I know where we live, it's very much Trump supporters, but you go an hour east of us and it's all very much Biden supporters. So
the reason why I bring it up that Virginia's in play is what we're seeing is that college educated men are moving back towards Trump corner, and the suburban woman vote is moving to the corner of Donald Trump. And the reason why is the abortion issue. The issue that they have with him as far as his extramarital affairs and some of the things he says do not circumvent their overall passion for children and the life and the sanctity of life of kids. So you're going to see that as this galvanizes the left, and that's kind of baked in the cake now because people Roe v. Wade. For Republicans, it's not. And we really haven't had an election where the women have come out and said, okay, this is ridiculous. So with the black vote, with the Mexican vote, and I want to give you some good news. Donald Trump, 6 months out of the election, there has not, and they've been doing polls since 1879, but official like 1923 on, there has not been a presidential election where 6 months out that whether it be incumbent or challenger are leading in the swing states that hasn't won the election. Hasn't ever happened. And it's by far, if 6 months out, this big of a lead, and it's gargantuan. This is the largest lead of any presidential candidate, even over Reagan and Mondale. As far as these swing states, these numbers that are coming back are absolutely, just to show you how powerful this is. You might not believe all the polls, but this is a very large number. So you have to look at that, right? You also have to look that Donald Trump won Florida. He won Ohio. He won the bellwether. He won Texas. The fact that he won the Carolinas, the fact that he really won those states, it was very surprising that Donald Trump lost. It was only because of those swing states that he did lose. So I'd love to get your thoughts on this. What are your thoughts on the black voter coming back, youth, everything else? And then I'll try to find that video. Someone says it's Terrence Williams. I know Terrence Williams. I don't know if it's him or not, but we'll find out.
I really think it has a lot to do with the craziness that's been going on in our schools for such a long time. I mean, the majority of Americans have their kids in public school, and I don't care what color your skin is, most parents are fed up, and I think it's driven them to do more research, not just on schools, but on our government as a whole. And I think it's driving people to find out the real answers to things. And a lot of people are coming to a realization that, yeah, we may not love Trump for the person that he is, but we all have that one friend, right? That's just a little bit embarrassing, but you still love them because they're your friend and they're a good person and they do the right thing when it comes to, push comes to shove. They're going to make the right decisions for the population, not themselves. And I think we all kind of see that in Trump. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot of people come back to Trump or come over to him for the first time. I think we're all worried for our kids and their future.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good point. This is the video from Terrence Williams. This is the one I watched. This one, he looks more like a Cro-Magnon. The other guy was absolutely acting like a monkey. But here's the video from Terrence Williams, who is hilarious. If you have not followed him, please. I want to get him on the show.
I have his
Young
book.
black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word a computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things. And I want the world open up to all of them. Because when you have their diverse voices innovating solutions through technology, then you're really addressing society's broader challenges.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Is he eating a banana?
He is.
Yeah.
Christ.
I'm sharing it.
Oh,
That
man.
is terrifying. I love him. You know, a couple of years, I grabbed his book, and it was a couple of years ago. I actually reached out to him and tried to get him on the show.
Yeah, well, I'm going to share it because you know why? Because it's getting throttled. It's 1.5 thousand shares with 5,000 likes. Listen, everyone's going through the same thing. I actually had a video break 100 likes yesterday, and you know what? I think the content we're putting out is fairly top notch, and it is what it is. You just have to battle against it. Leroy, I know you have some thoughts on this. Amy made great points. I think. I think this is very I'm just saying, not that I think it's going to go this way, but this is very reminiscent of Jimmy Carter's race. And I told you Biden was going to mirror. Guys, go back on that episode. It's ridiculous. I mean, I talk about gas prices, inflation, getting into war, border insecurity. It's insane when you watch. This is what Joe Biden's presidency will look like. It's going to mirror Jimmy Carter, and it absolutely did. The election looks like it very well could too. But Leroy, go ahead, give us your thoughts.
So, as long as the Democrats continue to control their portion of the narrative, okay. Again, the two biggest issues that we're facing down for this election is going to be the economy. That is always going to be number one. And the number one lie that's being thrown out there from Joe Biden is, "Hey, when I came into office, inflation was 9%." No,
Oh God.
it was at 1.4%, and then you made it 9%. And the other big lie in terms of abortion is, and this is something you've seen on social media over and over and over again, is that in some way they're trying to make the pitch that your daughters will have less rights than you did growing up, that somehow choices are being taken away from you, when in reality, all that has happened is that the states are now allowed to decide for themselves, which was the purpose of the Constitution to begin with. That's why we have a 10th Amendment. So if they continue to pump this out and nobody fact checks them on this, it's going to gain some traction. To Matt's point, several weeks ago, we were talking about this, the way the polling data looks. I had noted at one point that, the polling data is like really starting to shift fast underneath Democratic feet. And so, and things are looking favorably for now towards Republicans. But to Matt's point, by the time we get to September, November, those polls are going to get really, really tight. And I think until we're able to control our portion of the narrative and basically call this kind of bullshit out, these lies, then we're still going to run into a hard road to hoe. The only other piece that I wanted to add was that I think more and more people are starting to realize that there's really there's a bell curve in America. And Matt and I have said it for years that most Americans are moderates. If you start to divide that out a little bit, you start to realize that if you're on the right side of that bell curve, you're still you're still running into people that will criticize Donald Trump without being critical of his policy. Like, we're allowed to basically say, no, that was a dumb fuck thing he said or did. But if you're on the left side of that bell curve, then no, the moment you step out of line, you're excommunicado.
Ain't it the truth? Real quick, just to show you guys the new shirt, which the final version is made. Amy, I'm sorry, I'm putting it over your head. This is this is the No More in 2024 shirt, and it's going to be available. If you take a look, there's a little Donald Trump holding a Trump coin. 1980s throwback shirt will be available, and it's obviously got Kamala Harris and Joe Biden in his Terminator 1980s outfit, and I figured
love that.
You guys, that would be available. So hopefully you guys pick that one up. I'm rocking it. I love the pink on it. I think it's hilarious. It's interesting when you look at this election, because I agree with you that the polls are going to narrow, but I don't think it's going to narrow between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Right now, you've got a situation that's really interesting. Is you have Amy, who just left. So they got her. They got her. They got her.
The Fibbies, the CIA type, the Men in Black.
So the thing about this is that you have RFK Jr., who is polling a substantial amount of votes away from Joe Biden. And it's okay. RFK is absolutely killing Joe Biden, and so is Jill Stein. And what they're seeing is predominantly the largest portion of that minority vote is going towards RFK. So it's left Biden, and they are simply saying, we're not going to vote this go around, which removes them from the voting pool, which helps Trump's numbers go up. It's not that Trump is expanding the black vote. It's that the black vote isn't going to show up for Joe Biden or Trump, and that hurts Biden. So it would be like a large portion of 40 to 60-year-olds, males, just saying, we're not going to vote for Biden, so we're going to give it to RFK. Well, that hurts Trump, and it helps Biden. It's the home and home thing. So if you are taking votes away from Trump and giving him to Joe Biden, that is a double whammy. It hurts Donald Trump and it helps Joe Biden at the same time. But if a demographic leaves the opposition party, that's like a triple whammy, because
it's huge.
Biden can't count those votes. They were never supposed to leave. So it makes the ones that were supposed to leave that much more significant. Do you get my point? So
I do.
It's very damaging, and it's a horrible thing for Joe Biden, at least in his campaign's eyes, because they're leaving RFK, and they're saying, if we don't vote for RFK, we're just not going to vote for anybody. Joe Biden has a very serious problem, is voter turnout. Now, they've got all the bells and whistles. They've got all the polling stations. They've got all the captains. They've got all the precincts. Donald Trump has none of that. That's the one thing, is his ground game is crap. But Donald Trump has taken a very strong approach on this and saying, I don't need a ground game, because like 2016, I am owning the airwaves. And this time it's even better for me. Where I was the president for the little people, now I'm the president who's being convicted for you.
Right.
And this message, they ignored him in 2020. They cut off and they made it a money race. They can't stop talking about Trump. This is backfiring. These cases, like I said they would, these would absolutely galvanize his base, and the media would pay for his campaign advertising. This is gold. Every day he comes out and sits here and says, I'm being persecuted. The speaker comes out. Now you've got Byron Daniels and other guys coming out. The Republican Party is unifying around Trump. The fact that he had, J.D. Vance out there, or not Vance, he had the SEAL guy, I don't remember his name. The point is that Republicans are starting to...
Vivek Ramaswamy was out behind him today, giving the same message.
We're going to talk about that. And that was even the guy up north, the governor, Bagram,
okay.
whatever his face is. So I want to suck your blood. So we're going to watch that real quick. I want I appreciate you guys letting me kind of spew off
Can I
here.
ask a real quick question, Matt? Because
Yeah.
I have a question for you, like a legitimate.
Yeah.
So last election, Biden was able to rake in supposedly 81 million votes.
Yeah.
Now, due to the way the polling is working, and due to the people that are basically threatening, saying we're not going to vote this year, or we're not interested. What do you think that number is going to come in at?
Yeah. So I predicted this 3.5 years ago. If you remember, it's not about tooting my horn. It's just about staying accurate with what I've said. If you take a look here, it's so funny you mentioned this. So right now you're looking at the prediction is essentially about 155 million votes. There is not a snowball's chance in hell that many people are going to vote. Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this number. So if we pull this down and we go into, and I've always tried to show that this is why this always destroys the stolen election narrative. I've never really done this, but I guess we can do this. Vote count totals in presidential history. Oh my God, I brutalized that word. Here we go. So if we go into this, and this is super interesting. So if we take a look, and you want to look at George Washington, 43,000 people voted. Okay. That is a 11.6 turnout, which is abysmal, right? But you're just kicking off, you know, the process. In fact, he was the first one to turn over. He was the first president, of course.
Voter suppression back then.
Yeah, look, but take a look at Thomas Jefferson. Take a look at this. Funny because this is hilarious. Take a look at Aaron Burr and Thomas Jefferson, which was a very contentious, where you had two people tried to kill each other.
Right.
And you're looking at 32% of the population came out. So that was one of the first massive contested elections. But it's interesting because John Quincy Adams and Andrew Jackson. But look at this, Andrew Jackson versus John Quincy Adams, where Andrew Jackson won because they didn't want John Quincy Adams back in, 57% of the population. And then Henry Clay, 57% the following election. So, and then Martin Van Buren versus William Henry Harrison from the Whig Party. You can see Democrat. You saw a huge push where over 57% of the population. Look at this one. William Henry Harrison comes in, runs again. He's in the Whig Party, and 80% of the population. So you can see by 1840, 79, 72, 69, 81%, 80, 72, 82, 80, everybody voted. You're talking 600,000 votes here. Now, here's the turning of the Industrial Revolution, right? So you're starting to see 1904 and start predicating upon the Great Depression and the Industrial Revolution. You start to see a decrease, but overall increase in the population, 8 million votes, okay? 65%. Now go ahead and skyrocket. Let's just go to 72. Richard Nixon comes in, 56%. So you're seeing still of 60 to 50%, but now you got 17 million. You've got a whole bunch of votes coming in. Now, when you look at these differentials, that's what I want you to look at, is there's 2 million vote differential in Harry S. Truman in 1948, but 25 million people voted. 40 million voted in 76. Now, all of a sudden, you've got these incredible numbers for Joe Biden, 81,284,000 winning for Joe Biden. So this column is your total winning votes. So it took, now follow along here. This is important.
Yeah.
Let's just go to Bill Clinton, 47,400,000 votes it took to win. He won by 8.2 million over Bob Dole. Look at George Bush, 50 million, 51 million basically. Negative 537,000. Ignore that. We know that's the hanging Chad.
Florida.
Yeah. Take a look. Now, all of a sudden in 2004, 62 million votes over John Kerry. Barack Obama, 69 million votes in 2008. Not as strong as 2012, 65 million. And then Donald Trump got 62 million. Okay. Popular vote differential, 2.8 million. Now, watch this. Joe Biden got 81 million votes. You're talking 19 million votes. Now, the interesting thing is Donald Trump went up almost 13 million over his votes that he got. So you're talking about 35 million to 50 million vote swing. You guys, you're talking 156 million people voted, and they're predicting that it's going to be 151 yet again. 66% of the population is what they said voted in 2020. So you saw over 9% increase in voter turnout in 2016, yet registration for voting remained almost the same. How is that possible? That is where mail-in ballots came in. Those are the mail-in ballots, the 50 million that they sent out that Trump benefited from, and Biden, but obviously Biden, because if you look at the popular vote, you're looking at 7.6 million differential. I want you to look back some of the worst in history and listen to this. Barack Obama versus John McCain. How unpopular was John McCain? Well, he lost by 10 million votes. Yeah. Go ahead and take a look at Bill Clinton versus Bob Dole. He lost by 8.2 million votes. Look at Ronnie Reagan versus Walter Mondale, 16.8 million votes.
That's huge.
Now let's go to 2016. Watch this shit. Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton, the two most unpopular candidates ever to run for president, negative 2.8 million votes. Donald Trump lost the popular vote, but won the Electoral College and got 304. How's that possible? Well, then you go here and look at the swing. Are you telling me Donald Trump gained almost 12 million votes from the previous election and Joe Biden beat him by 7 million votes? How?
Right.
That is what changes the narrative about the stolen election, is it shows that the mail-in ballots that they sent out for COVID, which was unconstitutional because it's voter solicitation. We know they went to the judges and not the state legislature. This shows you the increase. So when you ask me the question, how many votes are we going to see for this election? Honestly, if I take a look at the other ones and the participation, it is only about a 2.5% swing right here. Bill Clinton, 92, 58, 51, 54, 60, 61, 58, 57, 66. Mm-hmm. Do I expect a 66% turnout of people either sending in a mail-in ballot or going and voting that day? Absolutely not. I would expect this to go to about 60% to 59%. If that's the case, you're going to see about a 7% deduction from how many people who voted in last election. That's almost 15 million people less voting.
Oh,
so you're going to see.
Yeah, I was thinking it was going to be around 77, 76 million, but you're saying it should be closer to what, 69 million.
You got to take Trump and Biden. So you're looking at total votes for Trump and Biden. Gotcha. Biden got 81 million. Trump got like 70, 72, 74. I don't remember the exact amount. So you have to combine those two. So when you combine those two, you come out with about 150, 155. Take 7% from that dropping of coming back to reality, that 58 to 60% mark, you're going to lose anywhere from 6.5 points to almost 10 points on the election. I split it to 7.5. So you take 7.5 times 156 million. That gives you, what, 7 is 100. That's 7 million. And then 56, if 7% of that, 10% is 5. So it'd be like 3.85. So you're looking at about 11 to 12 million votes less than last election. I think it's going to be worse than that. I don't think people are going to turn out this election. And I think RFK is going to crush them both. I would be surprised if 135 million people vote this year.
Really?
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the Democrats think they have it locked in, and I don't think they're going to show up.
Oh,
they have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude.
And all the war stuff happening, and our great economy that we have, and all the jobs that people have, and the inflation's down, our gas prices are down. Like, it's a great time to live in America.
I don't think Democrats come out and vote, but what I do is I think that Republicans do. Like this is the adage: too big to steal. Right? That's my next T-shirt I'm making. Too big to steal. You have to come out and make this election absolutely. Like, Republicans need to show up, and we need to get 80 million votes. If Donald Trump can get 80 million votes, there's no chance Joe Biden has a chance of winning. There's just no chance. because 82 million people are not going to show up and vote for him again because his approval rating is in the fucking toilet.
Oh,
he had
it's terrible.
He had a 52% approval rating when he ran in 2020. Right now, it's like 36, 37%. Just take those numbers alone, y'all. He's not going to get the turnout that he had.
You know, this is one thing that I absolutely love about the internet is now that you have so many different predictors. There's at least 4 or 5 different sites that are basically giving their electoral college predictions on which states will be, float red, which states will float, blue.
They're all wrong. They're all wrong.
And that's what I'm worried about is that they are all wrong. But what's interesting, and there's some truth to some of it, right? You're always going to have the states that can almost be gambled upon to remain blue or to remain red. But Virginia, I think that's going to be a contentious one, as is Georgia, as is Nevada. So,
but let's walk through it. Let's look at it together.
Virginia is going to. I don't see it. There's where we live is very conservative. Most people like Trump here, but again, you go closer to DC, it's way more populated, and people.
It's also black.
Yeah, but
you.
It's just
listen.
a lot of Biden supporters out there. A lot.
There are, but it's predominantly in Alexandria.
Yep.
It's predominantly in the rural or the non-rural black areas, and that black vote is not showing up. And let's face it, he's going to have a hard time holding Virginia Beach. The military are going to have a hard time voting for Joe Biden. You may not see. I don't think he gets this. Let's walk through this together, okay?
Yeah.
So, and I apologize because I'm not prepared for this conversation, but I just winged it, and I think I did okay.
This is what we do, folks.
Yeah.
I know.
I'll occasionally ask a stupid question, and it invokes a response.
No, but you know what's funny is that I did guess 74 million for Trump, and I was right. It was 74,225,000. So, and then Biden was at 81 million. So if you go ahead and take those numbers, folks, you're looking at 150 million plus 5 plus 4. So you're looking at 156,400,000 votes. There's no way that you're going to see that turnout. I would be absolutely shocked to shit to see that turnout. And I believe that you could see anywhere from 10 to 15 million votes less because of a third party candidate who's so substantive like RFK and Jill Stein. Jill Stein took 7% of the vote away from Hillary Clinton, folks. Don't forget that. Okay? 7% of the vote. That's huge. So if 7% of the vote leaves Biden, it's over. This race is over. But look at what that constitutes. I just told you. 10% of 81 million is 8.1 million. So you're looking at like 6.5 for 7%. So you're talking 6.5 million votes leave Joe Biden. Where do they go?
Right.
That's just with a third party candidate. It's not the black vote. It's not the Hispanic vote. It's not college educated white men and uneducated women and men. There's a lot here. So let's watch this. So let's go down here. And right now, this is some asshole on Twitter that's showing a 306, 232. This is a pipe dream. Okay. Let me tell you why this is a pipe dream. First of all, the Northeast corridor of the state is completely in play. Not all of it. Okay. But Pennsylvania is most assuredly in play. And if Pennsylvania is in play, then New Hampshire is in play. I'm just letting you know right now. New Hampshire is in play. If Pennsylvania is in play, New Hampshire is in play. Now, this is where Nikki Haley is extremely important because that one vote that turns that state, that New Hampshire state, turns that red is a massive blow to Joe Biden because they're thinking this could be so close that Nebraska, which splits its electoral votes just like Maine does, is that close to making this election yay or nay. So let's go ahead and assume that he keeps saying he's not going to make Nikki Haley his VP. That's fine. I don't care. He needs to find how to get those 25% of the votes that she keeps taking from the Republican Party and galvanize the party. He talked to Ron DeSantis. He keeps putting other people in front, like Vivek Ramaswamy and Byron Daniels and other people. I don't think Trump knows who he wants for VP. All I know is that he has to say no to Nikki Haley right now because that's what his base wants to do. But when that poll tightens right before the RNC, trust me when I say this, if she is still polling at that 25%, like I said, all she needed was 15, Donald Trump's going to have to put her in the cabinet. I see her being Secretary of State. I see her possibly doing chief of staff work, something very important for Donald Trump, because she has to be standing behind the VP and him, or be the VP, in order to galvanize the Trump supporters and bring them home. The non-Trump supporters. You got to bring those people home. Otherwise, now it's a toss-up, because you've got the black vote would help. You got the Mexican vote, but you're losing some of your base. He had 93% of the base in 2020. He had 95% of the base in 2016. He's got like 91 to a little bit shy of that of the base right now. That is a big loss. So he's got to make that up. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go down here. Virginia. Virginia is in play, in my opinion, because of the military and the black vote. If it works or not, this is going to be depending upon Youngkin. Can Youngkin get out and stump for Donald Trump? If he does, Virginia's in play. If he doesn't, there's not a chance in hell. Georgia, dude, there is not a chance in hell Donald Trump is losing Georgia. You take a look at the governor race. They voted a Republican in because of COVID and how that ran and how he ran the state. Kemp did a great job. They did not put in Herschel Walker because he's dumb as a freaking brick.
My God.
Just dumb as a brick.
The footballs he used to run.
I got my sheriff badge. So Georgia is
like football.
He's like, he's leading in Georgia like no other. Georgia should turn red. You've got South Carolina, which is arterial red now, North Carolina, Tennessee. This is locked. You got all surrounding states in Georgia, and people who are leaving Florida, people who are leaving Tennessee because overcrowding right now in North Carolina, they're all matriculating into Georgia. East side of Texas is moving into Georgia. So Georgia's getting a lot of Republican red. It's surrounded. I can't imagine. Michigan and Wisconsin. This is the tough beat. Michigan, dude, I don't see Michigan flipping. And the reason why is it's Whitmer. She is the most popular governor in America. Hey, whether you like her or not, it doesn't matter. I was the only person to say that Governor Whitmer was going to win her reelection bid. Everybody said I was crazy for what she did on lockdown. I said, nope, her popularity is like 79%. She's not going anywhere. The only way Biden wins Michigan, and hear me when I say this, is that when the infrastructure bill, that was supposed to be for infrastructure, starts kicking in, and they start defunding and adding regulation to these combustion engines, and you start seeing the money flow into the battery makers and the EV vehicles, because that will drop in that infrastructure bill, and it happens like next quarter, that could really hurt him. But Wisconsin, in my opinion, is in play because of Israel and Palestine. He has now released more weapons to Israel. He's releasing $1 billion package. So he's completely lying. And the Muslim population in Wisconsin, which is run by Ilhan Omar, very well could tell him to go piss up a rope, and Minnesota. So you're seeing Minnesota and Wisconsin. Minnesota is influencing Ilhan Omar in Minnesota, is influencing the Arab populations in Wisconsin, which hurts him terribly. So
I could see a situation where Michigan remains blue, but Wisconsin flips.
I think Wisconsin could very well flip. It's going to take the conflict in Israel to continue. And here's my prediction. If Lebanon gets involved, he will lose Wisconsin. If a Muslim state gets involved in this conflict, if Syria gets involved more than the IRGC, if more than Hezbollah gets involved, if you see a Muslim state, Egypt maybe gets involved, if a Muslim state gets involved, he will lose Wisconsin. Hands down. The moment that happens, you're going to lose the Muslim vote and you're toast. You could lose Minnesota too. You could absolutely lose Minnesota. So let's just assume that Wisconsin isn't in play. Okay. Now you've got Arizona, which it should very much go red. They're saying it's a toss up. This whole map is way too fucking lofty. The fact that they got Georgia here is ridiculous. Pennsylvania, ridiculous. They're giving him all the swing states, which that is not what the bellwether is saying. That this is the largest lead for a non-incumbent candidate in presidential history right now with these polls
Yeah.
6 months out. You've got to take that into account. You have to. So
Yeah. And I absolutely see that the most crucial states that are on that map right now, for both parties, is going to be Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, and Georgia.
I don't think Nevada.
Absolutely.
I think Nevada is out of play. I think it stays blue.
Think so?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Well,
I just
electoral votes there. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, okay. So like, let's look at it. Okay. So right now you've got a 213 and 235 is what you're seeing. Georgia, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, Nevada are all in play. Okay. I'm telling you, I think that is true. I'm sorry. Can't see that. Can you? Enough of the fucking ads. I need to pay for this by the time election season comes around. Okay. So you can take a look at New Hampshire for electoral votes. I think that's in play. If you get Nikki Haley on the ticket somewhere in a prominent position, you have a really good chance of flipping New Hampshire. You saw what she did. You saw what happened with Cuomo. You saw what happened in the primary. She won New Hampshire. And if you put her in there, that absolutely makes it in play. Okay. So let's just say right now we're at 191, 235, 209. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go like we think it's going to do. Okay. We're going to go ahead and make Wisconsin. We're going to make it flip. And we're going to give this to the Dems. And we're going to make it. This has to be like light pink. This is like, dude, watered down freaking pot roast. Ohio is fine. Pennsylvania. Let's go ahead and let's just do this. You know what? Let's leave that where it's at. Okay. So now Pennsylvania. All right. Right now he's leading the polls. So let's give him Pennsylvania. Virginia. Let's go ahead and make it blue. I still think it's going to go light blue. Georgia, in my opinion, will go red. It's not going to go dark red.
I agree.
It's going to be like soft red. Texas is not in play. Whoever wrote this, dude, shut your face. Yeah. Every year you guys do this. Shut up. New Mexico, I think that's freaking, dude. That's like bleeding heart blue. Arizona, I think you can get Arizona. Red. I don't think it's going to be a landslide, but Eli Crane up in the north shows that Maricopa County is vulnerable. So let's go ahead and leave it there. And let's go ahead and make Nevada blue. Okay. Now, 291, Trump wins. 243.
That doesn't even include New Hampshire, does it?
That's correct. So now you got to start going, okay, where were we super kind? Where were we super kind? We were super kind with Michigan. So let's give him Michigan. Now you're at 243.
291.
291. Well, hold on a second. Why did that change? Hold on a second. Let's see. Oh, I see what it's doing. You got to make it. You got to make it dark blue. Okay, let's fix this. So if it's gonna go, it's got to go. It can't. I think. Yeah.
It's not updating.
Okay. I know. Hold on a second. It's
your internet speed.
It's down below. It's down below. It's down below.
Yeah,
it's right here. Okay, so you're looking at 256 to 227 right now. You got Virginia, which goes dark blue. Why is it going down? What the hell's wrong with this thing? I got 38 and hold on. Let me.
You're using Bidenomics to calculate this map. It's going to be a problem.
This is bullshit. This should be working. Hold on. Let me refresh this, guys.
It's inflation, folks.
No, it's bullshit. I've done this 100,000 times. There it is. I think. Yeah, because Florida is enough of the ad. Dude, 270 to win is one of the greatest sites on the world, but they're killing me with these freaking ads. Okay, there it is. Okay, so let's try this again. So let's make this beige. It's updating now. All right. So right now, that would make it 289, 240. That would be a Trump win column. Okay, that's giving him Wisconsin, giving them Michigan, giving them Virginia. He takes Arizona back. He takes Georgia. Now, this is what we need to do. We need to give him Pennsylvania. He's still at 270. That's why New Hampshire is so important.
Yeah.
So look at, he's at 270 to win. Democrats here. So if he wins this and you give it to Trump, he's at 274. You give it to Biden, it's 263, 266 to 272. And now you need to go, all right, is Arizona going to flip? Does he actually carry Wisconsin? Does that stay blue? Well, if it stays blue, Joe Biden, now watch this. Look at that. So you got to put Maine in dark blue. So this is where, look at that. That's how close the race would be. 264 to 272 because of New Hampshire. And that's New Hampshire red. He still loses. So he's got to get Michigan or Wisconsin. He's got to get one of these. If he doesn't get one of these, it's over. That's assuming Arizona goes his way. He loses Pennsylvania. He doesn't take Virginia. He doesn't get Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, or New Hampshire, but he's got to take New Hampshire. If he doesn't take New Hampshire, Biden wins. And that means you have to, even if you take Wisconsin, watch this shit. He still loses. New Hampshire is so important. That's where I said he has to get Nikki Haley. And nobody listens to me. I don't care what he's saying right now. He's going to do the math and he's going to realize that Nikki Haley puts him over the top. If he loses Wisconsin, it makes his path to victory so much easier. 264 to 272. Then all he's got to do is he's got to take Minnesota, Wisconsin, one of those. Excuse me, one of these three. Yeah. Michigan's his most likely of take. He can flip Virginia. He's in play in Pennsylvania. He's got to take Arizona and Georgia. Like, these have to be a lock. And then honestly, this is very probable for him to take one of these states. One of these states he can take and then it's done. But he's got to have New Hampshire, because if you take New Hampshire and then watch this, you give him Michigan.
Boom.
Look at that.
Boom. That is crazy.
I know. It's going to come down to one state.
That's exactly why the Democrats want to get rid of the Electoral College and just go purely by the popular vote. Folks, if you happen to live in any of those states, if you happen to live in Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Georgia, Michigan, please, for the love of God, share this, for one. And two, make sure that you're digging up all of the Biden lies and making sure that that's hitting social media. It will help. I mean, the guy's been lying for 40 years. You know,
it's. I haven't done my breakdown yet, and I'm going to dive into it because, like, now that we have a sample size of 16 and 20, I can really dive in and just look at the trends, because all you got to do is basically take whatever happened in 2020 and flip it on its ear. Because Biden is now in the position that Trump was. They know what they're going to get. He's fresh in the memory. They've kind of forgot the bad about Trump, and they're only remembering the good. And all the things that the Democrats said are going to happen, it never happened. He didn't take over our democracy. He didn't fucking get to a war. You know, all those things that happened, they didn't happen. So not everyone died of COVID. So Biden
started a third world war. It's all bullshit.
Yeah. So Biden's in the underdog position right now. And Donald Trump has the momentum. So this is huge, but this map, guys, don't kid yourself. This right here is absolutely critical, because this is probably not going to happen, but this could. There it is. There's your win. Pennsylvania is going to be a huge get.
Yep.
And that's why they're spending so much time in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's not happy with him. They're not happy with Biden right now. So you're not going to also have those influx of mail-in ballots that you saw in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. These massive amounts of 90-10 districts that went for Biden versus Trump. You're not going to see that this time, because they don't have the ability to send out mail-in ballots. So there's a lot of information here But I promise you, this is one of the best channels to get your predictions. 2020, we were absolutely spot on. Almost 100%. Ohio, we had a little trepidation when it came to like a second seat because the polling numbers were horribly down. But everything else in the country, we crushed. We nailed it. We predicted Youngkin winning. We predicted Whitmer winning. We predicted Kemp to win. Stacey Abrams losing. I told you that Carrie Lake was going to lose 3 weeks before. Charlie Kirk and everyone else was lying to you and telling you she had a chance and these secret votes were going to come in. Predicted Herschel Walker. Told you Mehmet Oz was going to lose in Philadelphia. There was no chance he was going to beat Fetterman. He didn't. I told you Majewski was going to lose, the stolen valor prick up in Ohio.
Yeah.
Folks, we called 2020 and we crushed it. We did well. We did really well in the midterms too, in the primaries. So your election coverage, you should get it here. All right.
And it's interesting to see how freaking close. I mean, how absolutely important Pennsylvania is. And if you happen to live in either Pennsylvania or in East Palestine, Ohio, remember who visited that town. Remember who blew off that town and just kind of let it simmer for over a year.
Happens to be the truth. Folks, if you haven't had a chance, please go to linktapgo.com/the Show. We are looking to have some donations because we are in a situation where you are funding the show entirely. It's all up to you. If you would not mind and help us out, we would appreciate it. What we do is give you some accolades for helping us out. We appreciate it. It'll pop up on the show, or you can go to PayPal and do it anonymously, or you can go to thedumclub.com and support us through there. Here is a article that I wanted to talk about. A couple quick hitters. I am so glad I sold my stock at Apple. Upcoming, first of all, the number one emoji that I use is the clown emoji. And those sons of bitches are, if they think that I'm not going to put it on notes and carbon copy it and use it anyway, but they're saying that it is a dog whistle for far right to use the clown emoji. I use it all. I'm not far right. I use the clown emoji because you're a freaking clown. What do you guys think about this? So let me make sure I get this straight. Here, just I'm going to put this up and you tell me what's right and wrong. So it's a far right dog whistle.
I saw that, yeah.
To use the clown emoji, but the pregnant man is okay. So can someone explain to me
I thought
why
that was me after Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
No,
I always thought that. All right.
It's a pregnant man. So just so we're aware, just want to make sure we put this in context. This is an alt-right dog whistle.
Just leave it where it was. Looked better.
Yeah, there we go. Alt-right dog whistle. And the pregnant man emoji is science and fact. Who wants to take a stab at this? Because I don't know what to tell you. I can't explain this. This is why I sold my stock. This is why I left this company. I had one of the best jobs in the world, but I fled because of shit like this. Who wants to take it? Go ahead.
Amy, you've been quiet.
I don't know, because my most used emoji is the crying laughing face because I'm not original. So I don't know. I don't think I've ever used the clown emoji, so it doesn't affect me personally. However,
you're missing out.
I know. Well, I know. I don't think. I will say I don't think they should remove this emoji because I think just leave the emojis alone. Like, why are we adding and subtract? Like, just take the pregnant man away. I'm sorry. It's offensive to women, and I don't like it. And the clown's not offending anyone, but maybe clowns and John Wayne Gacy. I don't know who else is it offending. I don't know.
Yeah, I forgot about him. Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure I got it on my phone and I'll copy and paste it. So screw this.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much to say.
Leroy, your thoughts?
I mean, Apple is supposed to be open to the idea that it's a path that allows people to properly express themselves. right? That's what Facebook is about. That's what the emojis have been about. That's what memes are all about, right? It's the ability to either visualize or contextualize something that you're thinking into a visual media format so that others can appreciate it and you're able to convey that. And here they are trying to put up the bumpers down the bowling lane to basically say, oh, well, you can go down the middle with the pregnant man thing, but no, yeah, you can't do the. And I really feel like that's a way of telling people what they can and can't express, or in other words, what they can and can't think. And I think that's wrong. I think that if you really wanted to be that open format that you say that you are, that you should put up even more emojis. And I don't care about the pregnant dude. Don't care. I know it's not possible. Clowns certainly are. I mean, I've seen them. Hell, we have one as president, but yeah.
Well, here's the gun emoji too. That they went and took care of this, and now that's the best gun you can put, a water pistol. How is this helping anyone? Explain to me what this is doing. Who is so effing tragically vulnerable that seeing a clown emoji? Because clown emoji is a very big part of my repertoire, folks. I don't know if I'm going to survive without it.
Is it because the hair's orange and it's could be resembling Donald Trump and people are just
no? This is no. I don't know. The right use clown emojis for everything. Like I've been using it forever. I've been using it since I first got on social media. I think it's a great tool, but they're saying the alt-right is using it and it's triggering people to be called a clown. It's then here's my thought. Stop acting like a clown and you won't get triggered.
What the hell does that even mean? The alt-right using an emoji to attack people? I mean, come on. Get some thicker skin, really.
Well, you would think that people would, but they don't, because people are fragile, man. Oh. I mean, really, they are super fragile. I mean, like today, I won't use the name, but I was putting up the shirt asking for feedback, and I have great followers who I really appreciate, and they make a huge difference. Hey, thanks whoever just donated. Hold on.
Yeah, thank you.
Let me see who did it. We needed it. We're having a poor night, so thank you for that. It's getting better though. It's getting better all the time.
Liv isn't here because she's always promoting it.
She flashes her boobs. Her boobs. It works every time. You need to do something.
I have
never
a good
get any followers when I do that.
I have a good solution when you're done.
Tell me.
Your thought, Matt.
Tell me. No, I'm done with my thought.
Okay. I think that Apple should have like two separate sections in the store, like just the regular open section where you can buy any phone you want with any emojis you want, and then they have the crying closet and safe closet or whatever they call it for the phones without the clown emojis installed.
I love it. How about this?
Let's go one step further.
Go ahead, do it.
Why don't you go one step further, and instead of within the Apple Store just making that division, why don't you make one that actually has like a Spencer Gifts kind of flavor on Apple phones, where they're actually shaped like a giant cock, or something along those lines. That'd be fun,
That'd
right?
Be awesome. They would sell out. All the women would have those.
You know they would.
Ramon, thank you for your donation, $52.58. That makes it worth it. So here's my thoughts. How about this? Because, for example, if you don't want to see images on Facebook, you can turn that off. How about this? How about you just have an option that on your iPhone, you no longer process clown emojis? Because that's the process that has to take place. You handshake with it. And the Apple phone, that's why sometimes you get that little X next to emojis. You can't see it. So how about this? You just turn off the clown emoji on your phone. It's that simple. If you don't want to participate, why do we have to suffer because you're such you're a sensitive dick? Right. I don't understand. I don't know. All right.
I don't get it.
This one you're going to love. We're going to do the quick one because I got to go because I want to go play Diablo.
Did you guys see the Woke Jesus video? Because I was going to send it to you, but I didn't.
No. What happened to the Woke Jesus?
Oh my gosh. It's on Babylon Bee. It's a 5-minute video, but it is so funny.
I'll find it. All right, I'll find it. Hold on a second. Now everyone's donating. Yes. I can't. I'm like, I can't show this because people want to be anonymous. Here, how about I do this? I'm going to play this Jordan Peterson video. Listen to this.
And you think, well, there's no such thing as hell. And you think, well, there's no.
Okay, listen to this.
Freaking.
And then I want comments. So do I.
And you think, well, there's no such thing as hell. It's like, have it your way, buddy. Can't you just, call the poor victims what they want? It's a byproduct of neural activity. It's why isn't your solar plexus conscious then? You can't have a wood burning fireplace. It's like, so these bloody nature worshipers. Oh my, everything's coming to an end. We have to act like there's an emergency. We have to lock everything down. We have to take everything from everyone. Why? So I can be seen to be the savior of the planet. You have to use pronouns.
Anon, thank you for that. I love Jordan Peterson, and I love that, it seems that a lot of people, and I would like to say that I'm a revolutionary when it comes to conservatives. I would like to say that, and I'm going to say it because a lot of conservatives don't cuss. A lot of conservatives don't just they don't want to yell and just get it off their chest. You're seeing more and more intellectuals. Like Jordan Peterson's an intellectual, and that right there is about as dumb as he's ever portrayed himself in his life, and good, because you have to dumb yourself down to these morons. I'm done kissing their ass. Like if conservative groups like YAF and TPUSA, I don't give a fuck. You guys are we need more Hodge twins. And even though I'm not happy with the Hodge twins right now, we need more people like that. We need people to call out all the sides. We need people to be honest and stop freaking kissing somebody's ass just because you think you agree with them. I love his comments. What do you guys think? Would love to get your points.
Amy, you go first.
I absolutely love Jordan Peterson. I just adore him. I love that he is such an intellectual. I love the way he not only thinks about things, but the way he just articulates everything. Thanks, Kyung.
Thank you, buddy.
Nice. Thank you, buddy.
I just love him, and I agree with you. I think he is so reserved and so refined. It's a little refreshing. And I noticed that lately he's been dressing like more like
like a clown.
Wild.
He's like a ringmaster.
It's not just there. I mean, in all of his videos, I'm like, oh, he's very like interesting lately with his clothing choices. I like it. I think it's awesome. But no, I love him, and I think this is spot on. I enjoy him very much.
So as somebody who has read 2 of his books, and I've seen the guy in person at one of his shows, genuinely enjoy his thought process. Where he tends to lose people, to Matt's point, is the fact that sometimes when he goes off on his intellectual deep end, right, you lose people. The common person, the common man, right? Let's to use a Jordan Peterson analogy. If the average person has an IQ of 100, but you're speaking in terms of directly to people who say have an IQ of 120, 130, you're going to lose that message to the common man. So for him to be able to pull that back a little bit and have a little bit of fun, maybe lose his temper just a little bit, and use more of the common man type language, you're going to get more viewers from that. You're going to get more traction from people who still have money to go buy books and go to one of his shows, that kind of thing. So I absolutely enjoy that.
So first of all, I agree with you. Dawn said, why aren't you happy with the twins? Everyone knows I care about both of them. They've endorsed the show. I love the Hodge twins. They went after Jews pretty anti-Semitic. Listen, when I say anti-Semitic, that's used way too much. This was bad, and everyone got to hear it on the show. It wasn't good, and I didn't like that. They also had a person who I'm not a big fan of. He's a Twitter personality, an MMA guy. I'm not even gonna say his name. He is just a complete 100% grifter who is jumping on the I hate Jews train to make money, and they platformed him. And I would platform him too, but I wouldn't let him get away with that shit. See, that's the thing. I'll put anyone on my show. You want to put KKK guy on my show? You want to put Alex Jones on my show? You want to go ahead and put Fuentes on my show? I'm fine with all that. I'm just going to challenge their thought process. You put Jordan Peterson on my show, I'm going to challenge his thought process. Well, that's not true. I'm going to listen. There's some guys like Thomas Sowell. Well, I don't know if I would get steamrolled because I until I have a situation like that where I sit across from somebody, I don't think anyone's ever seen me elevate my game. I don't think anyone here has seen that. So the only time that I elevate is when, sometimes you two challenge me with something that you're extremely passionate about, and I listen more than elevate. But if you get me on a passionate topic, one that I truly care about, and I respect you, that conversation is going to move mountains because that is a portion of me you guys have never seen. Nobody has, because I haven't had it yet. Like Leroy, when you challenge me, I take a back seat on a lot of things you say because you and I agree a lot. Amy, when you say something passionate, I listen to you because you get fired up, and that doesn't happen very often. So when you talk, it's important because you're going to say something. But with like Jordan Peterson, if I'm sitting here listening to him intently, I'm probably going to take a Rogan position with him. I'm going to ask him a lot of questions, but then I'm going to challenge him on a couple of things because I don't agree with everything Jordan Peterson says. Here's an example. Marcus Luttrell, who I think people have been absolutely horrible to. A lot of people have, and I don't comment on SEALs for a reason. And it's always been, people have asked me to comment on Chief Gallagher. People have asked me to comment on Matt Bissonnette or Rob O'Neill. I don't, because I'm never going to question the way that those guys operate, because you've never been in a position that they've been in. So therefore you can't sit here and negotiate that obstacle from afar. However, Marcus Luttrell gets a bad rap. People say that he essentially had full mags when he was rescued, that he listened to his friends die, that he listened to Axe die, that he listened to Murph die, and he didn't fight and he ran. I've got some problems with that. First of all, those guys fell down a fucking mountain. Number one. Marcus took rounds. Marcus essentially had a broken back. His tongue was almost cut off. He was bleeding profusely, and he was in a position where he could not get to Axe, and he could not get to Murph, and he could not engage in the fight. And to sit here, he was also, I think this was his second op. He was pretty much a rookie. He was out of probation. You go, once you get off the teams, or once you get out of buds, you go on the teams for a year. And you're not even tacked for a year. You don't get your Budweiser. So a lot of people think you get your Budweiser right. That's not the way it works. You get tacked when you go, it's not when out of buds. People think you get out of buds and you're a SEAL. And it's that's not even remotely true.
You got to be selected by the team.
Yeah, you got to go through jump school. You got to go through demo school. You got to go through small arms. You got to go through sniper training. You got to go through SEER. You got to go through your high altitude, low opening jumps. You got to go into your system jumps, your tandem jumps, your night jumps. You got to go in, dude. You got to go for your deep water swims. You got to go for your SDV submersibles. I mean, you guys have no idea. This is like a year process at least. And then you got to be selected by the team. And you basically, it's like pledging for a fraternity. You've got to be, they got to tap you on the shoulder and say you're ready to go. So when people say you're a SEAL because you're assigned to a team, that's not true. You are not a part of the community until you are tapped by the community. That's the way it works. Now you may be an operator. You may be BUDS qualified. You may be this qualified. You may be jump qualified. You may be dive qualified, but that doesn't make you a SEAL. So when they say that Luttrell was a fresh green team guy, that still makes him in the top 0.02% of operators in the world. Okay. When Marcus Luttrell was interviewed, he has had conflicting reports in regards to if you listen to what he said when he talked about Axe and he talked about Murph, is that he was in a position where they were elevated above him and they were being closed on, and he could not get to them. He could not engage in the fight. If he did, his position would be revealed and he would be killed. And he was in a lower position. There were elevated enemy combatants all around, RPGs. We know what took place. We know what happened with Operation Red Wings. We know what happened when that Chinook went down. And he said when Axe was calling out, now it wasn't Axe, I think it was Murph who was calling out for him, is that he covered his ears because he couldn't handle the screams and the calls. And people said that meant that he was a coward, that he didn't get into the fight. I just want to be clear. When Joe Rogan interviewed Luttrell, Rogan is so incredible. If you have not watched this interview, please go and do it soonest, because Luttrell is reliving these experiences in the moment. And when he's talking, Rogan is not interrupting him. He's letting him talk. And he's pulling things out of him as Marcus is actually reliving it in the moment. So the point I was trying to make in this long story is that if Jordan Peterson is sitting across from me, I want to get him to talk as much as humanly possible. But if he says something that's contradictory to his normal conclusion or something that I disagree with, there is a way to continue to ask questions respectfully that kind of elevate your interaction to make his interaction better. Rogan is a master at this. That was my point. Have either of you seen that interview?
No,
I have not. But, and I wanted to clarify something. When I said that someone would get steamrolled, what I meant by that was that when you approach, to Matt's point, when you approach an interview in a confrontational manner, with someone like a Thomas Sowell or a Jordan Peterson, I am not an academic to that level, and so I know that if I were accusatory or in any way aggressive with the interview, I would get steamrolled. I know that. To that point, though, I think there's so many things for the people that do hold conservative values that are genuinely classical liberals, not these left wingers that we see today. That's when you do have the best dialogue. That's when you do kind of explore more ideas and policy rather than attack people. And that's always been the consistency, is that if you're attacking people, I can pretty much guarantee that I would put money in the fact that you probably live on the left side of the political spectrum. If you are attacking policies, then absolutely I can see where someone would be considered more right-leaning, because the discussion of those policies, that's where a true intellectualism lives. That's all I meant.
I didn't take it that way. If I'm going to talk things that are involved around mathematics and right brain thinking, I believe Jordan Peterson would systematically take me apart. I don't think that's the way Jordan Peterson interacts. So that's what I meant by steamrolled, is he doesn't do that to people who don't try to do that to him. Right. And either do I. Like, you've seen me interview people. I want to learn about you. I want to talk about you. It doesn't matter who it is. And yes, I contribute, but Jordan doesn't do that. But trust me when I say this, Leroy, Jordan Peterson puts his pants on the same way as you do. And there is nothing, absolutely. There are topics that you know that he would not even be able to encroach upon. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think it really depends upon the topic. And whoever gave us a downvote, thank you. It actually helps the feed. I'm going to show this real. Yeah, I that one downvote. Oh man, that really hurt. Here's a portion of this. I just want you guys to listen to this, and it really is a pretty emotional thing here.
That if I told you, you wouldn't believe me. Now, when it came to the movie, we filmed it around the gunfight.
Like what?
So we filmed it the movie around the gunfight because that's when everyone was alive. I was like, you shouldn't have known that I was going to be the guy that make it out. When they were picking the actors, I was like, so if you get somebody like an A-list actor, and then everybody, they'll know that he's the one that made it out. I was like, when you're watching the movie, you shouldn't know that. Of course, Hollywood does kind of does their own thing. But the craziest part about that whole operation was getting me out of there, and that wasn't in the movie. In the movie, they did a daylight extract. Like, they came in, landed, and a couple of shots, and they got out of there. In real life, it wasn't like that. It was unbelievable. I mean, it was at night, and the world was blowing up. We were in this, like a volcano, like sitting in the middle of this volcano. And I remember looking down the mountain, and there's a river running down. I mean, it looked like miles down. And they had moved me. They had to carry me. I couldn't walk. And they kind of like, and we would stumble over the Green Berets, Rangers. It was a hodgepodge. Let me tell you something. When them guys showed up to rescue me, when they found me, I was laying in a riverbed, dried up, tucked under a rock. The villagers had shoved me underneath this rock. And there was this one guy I had never met before. And he was sitting there listening to a AM.
Listen to the silence from Joe Rogan. It's so loud, it's deafening. I mean, Joe is like, he's not going to move. He's not going to touch anything. He's not going to
story go. Yeah.
Letting the story go. It's great. I know I should let the story go, but damn it, this is the whole point I'm trying to make. So here you go.
And he was scrolling through the channels. We hand those out for morale. Like the U.S. military hands those out. And he had one of them. I recognized it. And he was listening to the different channels, and I could recognize the different languages, German, Japanese. And he was like, hey, they're talking about you. And I was like, okay. I didn't know who he was. He was kind of messing with me a little bit. Because I couldn't move, and he had this stinging. Anyway, it's not important. And then the Gulag and a couple of the villagers came and picked me up. They had to carry me everywhere. And they were,
why did they save you? Because
so why interrupt there? So this is an assist. Marcus is, listen, I don't know Marcus Luttrell. I've met Marcus one time. He signed a book for me. That was it. I've met his brother a couple times. But I will tell you, he's saving Marcus Luttrell. Marcus Luttrell is going into a state right now of, he's going down the rabbit hole, but he's going into a state of reflection. He's thinking about things that he has not been thinking about. So he is so uncomfortable talking about this because you can hear it. His mouth is dry. This is a guy who has faced insurmountable odds, but right now he is more nervous probably than when he was in Afghanistan because he's exploring things he hasn't touched on. Rogan recognizes this, so he wants to get him back on track. So he throws him a life preserver and then backs off and shuts up. This is a talent that Joe has.
Keeping it organized.
Yep. Bring him back to reality. Watch this.
Villagers came and picked me up. They had to carry me everywhere. And they were,
why did they save you? Because in the movie, it's confusing.
It is.
Because in the movie, it's like these guys save you, and you don't know why they're saving you.
When he found me,
they have to fight the Taliban.
Yeah, can you believe that?
Crazy.
So I had been crawling for a day and some change. I was like crawling through the mountains, and I had somehow, some way, got to the top of this ridge line. I was so thirsty. I mean, but I hadn't thought about this. There's an insanity that goes with thirst. I was so thirsty that I was willing to kill anything to get water. I mean, you can't even believe it. I was drinking my own urine, my own blood. Nothing would quench the thirst. God, I hadn't thought about this in a while. And I got to the top of this ridge line, and there was a waterfall. And I was trying to slide down into it. I was like, I'm just going to go down in here, and I'm going to hit that water, and it's going to be something good to drink. So I tried to slide down. I just took off. I got uncontrollably. I started sliding. I rotated upside down. And I remember looking over, and my rifle was sliding beside me. I couldn't throw that thing away. It's like every time I'd lose it, one of my boys was like, hey, you're going to need this.
So do you know what that means? I know Leroy does. So the thing about Luttrell is what he's talking about is that one of his boys, which team guys, is looking out for him and says, he can't lose it. He can't get rid of it. He can't throw the thing away, which means that this guy has a connection. People don't understand the brotherhood. I don't understand the brotherhood. I've sat next to guys who've tacked coffins, and I don't understand the brotherhood. And unless you're a part of it, now you can get a glimpse of it, but to understand how incredibly close that these guys are and how difficult this is for him to talk about. He named his son Axe, if that doesn't tell you anything. Okay, listen, sorry.
And I flipped into upside down, over backwards into the river. And I remember my knees hit me in the face and it knocked me out again. And I was kind of, I was a blobbering mess. Everything was broken. And I rolled over, and I remember kind of sitting on all fours. I picked my head up, and I looked up, and there was that water fountain there. And I remember sliding down. This is the craziest thing. God, I hadn't thought about this. And I remember seeing this little pool of water, and I was like, oh, that'd be a great place to get something to drink. So I crawled back up into this thing, and I leaned into that waterfall, and I remember washing my face and hands. My gloves were, I had gloves on, the mechanic gloves, and all the fingers were ripped out, and the palms were ripped out. So I just kind of, and it was the best water I ever had. I'll never forget it. It's cold. And I was hurting real bad. And I remember hearing somebody screaming at me. And I kind of turned around, and over my shoulder, there was a guy standing there looking at me, pointing at me. He was like, Taliban, Taliban. So I swung around with my rifle, and then all of a sudden, behind me again, I could hear someone screaming at me. They're like, and I look up, and there's this guy standing on the hill that I'd just fallen off of. But he didn't have a weapon. He was just pointing at me. And then there was some guys on the ridgeline moving around. They had weapons. I saw them. So I turned back around, and I kind of started to crawl. I was like, man, I was in a channelized area. It was kind of bad. And I remember I was leaning against this rock. I was sitting on my butt. I had my rifle in my hand. I was breathing. I couldn't breathe. I'd bitten my tongue in half, and I was like,
oh, my God.
That's a crazy story. But the guy screamed at me again. I turned around to shoot, and he saw me, and he ducked behind this rock. And then, right over my left shoulder, probably 30 yards, not even that, I hear, American, American. And I kind of turned around, and it was Gulab, one of the main villagers who rescued me. And I turned around on him. I had my gun at my hip. My safety was off. My tension was out of my trigger. And he was kind of looking. We were staring at each other in the eyes.
When you say, when he says tension is out of the trigger, when you engage a weapon, it takes a certain amount of pounds of force to squeeze that trigger and engage the hammer and fire. And when you say tension is out of, what's that?
It's called take up.
Yeah. So when he talks about that tension, he's on trigger, and he is so intimate with his weapon that he understands where to take that trigger before he drops hammer and he goes hot and punches the clock. So the fact that he has tension on that trigger is that he is literally a fraction of a second and just a small amount of force away from engaging. So I just want to make sure people understand that when he makes that comment.
And I was like death. You know how you can smell death when it's there? I was like, man, okay, let's go. And God.
Perfect chance for Joe to say, no, I don't know. But he didn't say anything. Just shut up, because he knows it's rhetorical, right?
I don't know why I didn't kill him. I didn't have to even go to my shoulder to kill him. I had the tension out of my trigger. I was just sitting there looking at him. He was looking at me, and he wouldn't say it. He said American a couple times, and then he said it again. I was like, Taliban? And he was like, American? And then he kind of put his hands up, and I came off my trigger. I don't want to kill him. And he started walking down on me. He's like, okay. Shampoo, hydrate. That's what he's telling me, shampoo, hydrate.
Shampoo, hydrate?
That's what he said. 2 English words he knew. I was like, shampoo, hydrate. You know how good that sounded? I was like, bro, I would love some water. And if you want to wash my hair.
So if you haven't, I put the link in chat. If you haven't watched it, it truly is an amazing interview. And it also, there's one other one. If you haven't seen Jocko Willink and Eli Crane was on my show, and Jocko, it's like literally, it's like Tom Brady talking to Terry Bradshaw. I couldn't do a better interview than Terry Bradshaw. And Jocko is SEAL Team Commander. He's commander of Team 6, for God's sake. So he has a shorthand because it's Eli. So he can ask him things that I have no inkling about. So go watch that interview. And although I thought Eli's and I was interesting, Jocko's is just lights the fuck out. Fantastic interview. But anyway, I thought I'd bring that to you guys and let you take a look at it because it's a really interesting.
And I've read his book, so I read Lone Survivor, not the movie, Independent, and so that's where you really start to get an idea of the differences between the book and the movie. And I thoroughly enjoy that interview.
What's the movie called? Because I don't think I've seen it.
Lone Survivor. Okay. Lone Survivor. Yeah.
Should I look that one up?
Yeah, you should. It's Mark Wahlberg, and it's kind of Mickey Mouse at times, but it'll
Taylor
get you.
Kitsch too.
Say what?
Taylor Kitsch too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Taylor. It's Taylor Kitsch. It's
the guy from
310
to Yuma. Yeah, he's so good. He plays ass.
Ben Foster. It's Ben Foster, Taylor Kitsch, and Mark Wahlberg.
And then, you're missing Danny Dietz's character, which is the guy from 40-year-old. No. The Girl Next Door. But the Girl Next Door and it's Taylor Kitsch and Kish, whatever. And come on, man, guy from Girl Next Door, young kid, and he also did the Into the Wild. Hold on, I'll pull it up right now. I got it. It is
Ben Foster?
No. And it's a name you don't forget, and I can't believe I forgot it. I feel really stupid. Emil Hirsch.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a young kid, Emil Hirsch. Here is a campaign video of Donald Trump. So I want to get to this quickly, and then we're going to go. The debates, Donald Trump challenged Joe Biden to a debate. Looks like Biden has agreed. Biden wants no audience. He wants dead mics. He doesn't want major networks doing it. I mean, just give me a break. Justified.
Golly.
So TV
there will
show
not be
Justified.
enough speed and cocaine within a 3-state radius on the night of that. It will all be pumped into Joe to keep him alive and cognizant.
Is Mark right leaning? Yeah, Mark Luttrell's. Yeah, he's right leaning for sure. Most team guys are. There's very few who aren't. So this campaign video is perfect. You guys may have seen the rally that they held in New Jersey, and they said it was 80,000, and then they came back and go, there was like 2,000. No, there was not 2,000 people. I saw a plane come in and they recorded it. It was a lot of people. It wasn't 80,000, but dude, it was a good 30,000 people there. Yeah. So you know what? It's just what the left does. They can't stand him actually doing it. But this is the video. I hope I don't get copyright hit. Listen to this.
Look at that crowd.
Hey.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
That's
like a
New
concert.
Jersey.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah. Did you guys see the Trump? Not Trump. It wasn't a Trump video. I don't think it was. I saw it on the Dan Bongino show. I don't think it was his video. I think he had just played it, but it was the White House retirement home commercial.
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh my gosh, it was.
You gotta send these, right? When you see them, copy and immediately put it in chat.
People.
It's for the show. Do you know how much content I look for on a daily basis? I mean, that's what I do. I literally surf and I just go bookmark, and this is what I'm going to talk about. You've got to bring that stuff to me. It's fantastic.
Did you see that video that I put up in the Dumb Nation?
I probably did. Which one? You had like 6 posts last week.
Yeah, it was the one where the guy was talking about, he's like the chair to the economics
Yes.
counsel for President Biden and couldn't define what the hell inflation was or how money worked at all.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw that video, and it's. I think we might have messed around with that on Thursday. I remember playing it because it was the most ridiculous thing. I got to play this one. I said I was going to play it, and then we'll get going. And I've said that 3 times. So first, I got to actually play the commercial, folks. The reason I got to do this is because we have the Documents of Freedom box sets back up. I got to put this on here. Give us 1 minute and 20 seconds for a quick pee break. But listen to this, please. Great stuff. These books are awesome. Hey, what's going on, Donut for Emmy Nation? Matthew Spear from the Donut for Emmy podcast. It's interesting. I've had these books for, 3 years now, and I've got 3 independent books of the Declaration, the Bill of Rights, and the Constitution of the United States that I inherited from my mother. Leather-bound, beautiful, and they're older books, 1935, 1937, something to that effect. I'll show them on the show, but people see me reference these nightly on the show. And the interesting thing is I've never really put 2 and 2 together. We have a website, and someone asked last night, hey, how the heck do I get those books? Where do I get those books? And it dawned on me that I should provide these. So they are now on sale. They're beautiful books. They're leatherette books. They're hardback, which is nice. They don't have a dust cover or anything. I've used these, like I said, ad nauseum, and they hold up and they stand the test of time. They've got pictures of the framers, founders, inside the books. They make references with different colors to kind of explain things in a little bit of a simpler way or give some context. But these books, word for word, are the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and the Declaration of Independence. They are absolutely stunning. You get each book individually for $15.99 over at thedumshow.com. We also have a bundle over there where you can save $5 on all 3 for $44.99. And last but not least, the pictures you've just been looking at and the video is the Documents of Freedom, custom made by PFC Flags, comes in an amazing, beautiful, decorative box for $64.99. Stop by thedumshow.com and take a look. They're available right now. Hey, what's...
I love it.
Tommy...
I love my
Nation,
set.
yes, you do. Dumb Nation is on Facebook. It's our $1.99 a month group where kind of everyone chats and talks. I'd recommend the Dumb Club, but we're going to get the Dumb Club a chat where we can post and talk a little bit more frequently. This video, real quick, this is going to close us out. Let's go ahead and watch it. This is awesome, and this is going after. That is my backyard, Amy. Thank you. Yes,
I love this.
Yeah, if you have not seen this video, but people are asking, is that my backyard? Yes, that's my backyard, the video. All right, here we go. Let's watch this.
The real threat to democracy is from the elites. Now, don't get me wrong. We need elites. If President Biden has shown us anything, we need someone to run the countries. When the president has severe dementia, it's not just America that crumbles, the whole world burns. But let's examine the elites. European corporations spend over 1 billion euros a year
lobbying
right here,
Karen.
Brussels. US corporations spend over $2 billion a year lobbying in DC. 2/3 of Congress receive funding from pharmaceutical companies. Pfizer alone spent $11 million in 2021. They made over $10 billion in profit. No wonder then that 66% of Americans think the economy is rigged against them for the rich and the powerful. And by the way, we used to have a word for when big business and big government were in cahoots. And I think any students here of early 20th century Italian history know what I'm talking about.
What's the score?
What about big tech?
Can you rewind it?
Throughout the pandemic, Biden's team, the FBI, and the Department of Homeland Security colluded with big tech in censoring dissenting voices, not kooky conspiracy theorists. People like Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, the Stanford epidemiologist. People like Harvard scientist Martin Kulldorff. People spreading true information, not misinformation, true information at odds with the government narrative. Need I remind you, democracy without free speech is not democracy. This was a direct breach, by the way, of the First Amendment. Before COVID, intelligence services colluded with big tech to have Trump suspended off Twitter. Yes, the same platform which hosted the Taliban and Ayatollah deaf to Israel Khomeini, they thought the president crossed the line when he tweeted on Jan 6th, quote, "Remain peaceful, no violence, respect the law and our great men and women in blue." That's a quote. You may be thinking now that Trump is a populist. You are right. He didn't accept the 2020 elections, and he should have. So should Hillary in 2016, so should Brussels, and so should Westminster in 2016, and so too should Congresswoman Pelosi, instead of saying the 2016 election was, quote, hijacked.
I like him.
Quote, hijacked.
Yeah.
Dude.
Thank you.
Means that we don't accept the results of it.
Okay. What about the mainstream media? Let me read you some mainstream media headlines. The New Yorker, the day before the 26th.
That's enough for me. I love people with balls, and I also love people who can. This guy, like, he's singing my song.
Yeah.
He is not afraid to call out all sides and say, you idiots, if you're going to call out 2020, you better be calling out 2016. You better be calling out 2000, and somehow you're not. And if it's, go ahead.
How many times during the course of several interviews did Hillary Clinton, between 2016 to 2020, how many times did she say the election was stolen?
72 times.
Right. 72 times. And in the meantime, when Donald J. Trump, when he says it, somehow it's taken to the extreme, as if to say, well, he just tried to, overthrow the entire election. Well, wait a minute. You can't have it both ways. That's the problem with the way we see a lot of these optics, is that a lot of times the left is able to get a message in and let that sound bite run through, and where we just kind of step back. And I hate that.
I think people need to stop apologizing for intelligence. And I've tried to dumb down my show. It doesn't work. I don't know how to do it. I'm not going to do it. You said
That's
it perfectly.
Why I'm here.
Oh, stop it. That's why people say all the time, I don't read the dumb news. And I'm like, why? Because every other sentence I have to look up a word. I said, why is that a bad thing?
Right.
Why is it a bad thing? How do you think I learned? Is that I would read books that challenged me. I read Hondo at 4.5 years old by Louis L'Amour. I read War and Peace at 8.
Wow.
8. And it's not because, and I didn't understand a damn word of it. I read All Quiet on the Western Front at 7.5. I didn't understand any of it. But what I would do is I would read until I got to a word I didn't know. And with those books, I don't even think, you have no idea. And I would look it up in the dictionary, and then I would go, okay. And then I would figure out how to use it. And then I would add it in my vocabulary. My dad would be like, you're an idiot. That's not how you use that word. Let me teach you how to use that word. And you can learn. There's nothing wrong. We used to admire and revere intelligence. Now we belittle it and want people to dumb it down. And although Jordan Peterson does need to get down in the gutter once in a while, I'm not going to make my show shorter so I can do a disservice to you by teaching you something just enough to make you dangerous. I'm sorry. I refuse to do it. Amy, watch that video. It's a great one if you haven't seen it. I love that Nancy Pelosi just openly admitted that she said she should be charged for insurrection. I mean,
I watched that video. It was the best. I freaking loved it. That was going to be my suggestion for tonight's show before I was like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm a loser. I have suggestions, but no, real solid.
Not a loser. You're fantastic. You want to take your minute? Or are you going to?
My 1 minute is just a question for the shirts you showed earlier, because I looked it up. I don't see it on the site yet. When is that going to be on the site?
It should be able to drop tomorrow. By the way, Spreely viewers, thank you for watching. We love you. You guys are going to turn off here because we have other shows that have the 9 to 10 hours. So make sure to come back at 7 o'clock tomorrow and watch us. I'm going to have that tomorrow. I'm also going to have the 13 stars with a cross in it. I don't know if you've seen that one.
That's up.
That's the men's, but I'm going to have women's. But the new one And then I'm going to do this no more in 2024. I'm going to do multiple shirts with a no more in 2024. So I'll have that up.
I'm here for that. So
I'll have that tomorrow for you. Leroy?
Thank you.
You got it.
Great show. First of all, I love the beginning part of the show where we were able to just kind of chill and talk about our week, because it's been a few days, right? It's been a little bit since we've been able to get together. Then we hashed over a lot of the election predictions. One of the things on that last video that we saw where he was openly criticizing, Pelosi, like right to her face, where he made specific mention to the elites. One of the far lefties that's been gaining a lot of traction lately, dude keeps showing up in my feed, is this jackoff named Robert Reich. I guess he served under, I think it was Obama, as an economic advisor of sorts. But if you listen to his podcast, he just absolutely despises everything that is Republican. And then he's one of these guys that continues all of these lies. We'll talk about corporate greed, and that's the cause of inflation, that kind of thing. But when you played that video, it reminded me of something. Last week when I was looking into Robert Reich, and same kind of talking points. He was trying to demonize the elites, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I looked up, guess how much a speaking engagement is for Mr. Robert Reich for 45 minutes of his time?
$25,000.
No, it's $40,000.
Yeah.
And
I
this
didn't
is
get
I'm sorry. And I only have a minute, Amy. And so this is the same guy who's basically trying to tell you that, all of these rich people are the problem and that we should tax them more. And in the meantime, he's charging $40,000 for 45 minutes.
Dang.
I'm going to take my minute. We need a couple more likes. We're at 99. If you have not liked the show, you have to leave and do it. But first, I will use my minute like I have been with a new slap check. I did not have a chance to play it on Friday, so I hope you enjoy. Leroy, you should like this one. Here it is. Give us a listen. I do speaking fees too. I've got some stories. So that's my ultimate goal. Is I want to get to that point where I could do the TED Talk type stuff. But right now, this is good enough for me. Here you go. Enjoy this. Welcome to Slap Check. Let's dive right in this week. We're seeing some interesting numbers from the early swing state polls. Looks like Biden's figures are sagging a bit. He said sagging. And Trump is leading outside the margin of error in places like Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, and Pennsylvania. And what does President Biden say to these drooping numbers? Biden exclaimed, "I'm just focusing on my job. And right now, my sole focus is beating Trump one-on-one on the court. Sorry, with the courts." Pause. And for his second act, the Biden campaign is planning to tap Hollywood charm with Julia Roberts and George Clooney for a fundraising boost next week. Remember them from Ocean's 11? They were pretty slick at pulling capers. For the new upcoming film, Ocean's 14, the thieving duo will be attempting their biggest heist yet, stealing an election. They must be doing research for the film by spending all that time with Democrats. All right, folks, that's it for tonight. We'll see you tomorrow at 7:00. Thanks for watching. Olivia will be here tomorrow. We'll have Amy and Leroy here Friday, unless we have drill. Do we have drill?
Nope, I'll be here.
All right, boys and girls, we'll see you soon. Hey,
you
thanks
guys.
for taking care of us. Go to thedumbshow.com. Donate if you can. Link, tap, go/thedumbshow. It helps keep the show on air. We appreciate you. God bless, and have a good night. Thanks, everybody. Go Avs.
Peace out, homie.
See ya.
Adjusting
Bye.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.